everybody. Today I'd like to talk to you about a groove called Samba. I'm going to play a version that's more or less an adaptation. It's a good starting place for those who want to get familiar with this rhythm. It's not going to be an authentic Brazilian Samba, as there's a lot of moving parts, and so I would suggest working up to the authentic Brazilian Samba. But this is a good place to start. It's, like I said, it's an adaptation, and it basically involves playing a rhythm. I'll start with the ride cymbal, playing a rhythm, and we're going to count in cut time. When I put the metronome on, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that ride cymbal, I hope you can hear me. Let me bring my mic closer. Hopefully that's a little better. So the ride cymbal will be sort of the foundation of this groove, and it's pretty simple. It's just a 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. Now, the feet are going to mimic that exact same rhythm. So, like I said, it's a great place to start. So, we're going to play 2 and 4 on the hi-hat, and then we'll start with 1 on the bass drum, and then we'll mimic that rhythm like this. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 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 1. So the first thing you want to get happening is to put those two rhythms together. So it is, like I said, it's the simplest place to start, because your right hand is basically mimicking what your feet are playing. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. So you put those together. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 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 1. Pretty simple, right? So now it gets a little more interesting by adding a different rhythm in the left hand. And I want to start off real simple by just adding a backbeat on 3. So in cut time it'll sound like kind of 2 and 4, but it's going to be, the backbeat will be on 3 in the snare drum in the left hand. And I'll put this over here so I can use my left hand. Talk a little louder. And so adding the left hand to this. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. Pretty simple, right? So that right there already, if you ramp up the tempo a little bit, it's what I would call like a pop samba. So just to give you an example, I'll play that pop samba a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. There it is. Now you can take that same rhythm, move your right hand to the hi-hat. I would suggest playing the hi-hat heel down when you move your right hand to the hi-hat, and it'll give you a nice open note. You're still playing on 2 and 4, you're just moving that rhythm over here. I play the hi-hat heel up to get a nice chick when I'm playing on the ride cymbal, but I play heel down on the hi-hat when I move the right hand over to the hi-hat, so it gives that, makes it easier to play that open note. 1 and 3, 4, and on 1 and 3. So I add the bass drum. There you go, and add the backbeat. faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. that's your basic pop samba. Now let's get into it a little more and add some left-hand rhythms, what people would call Latin rhythms. There's different origins to some of the rhythms I'm going to explain. Some are from Cuba, some are from Brazil, some are from Africa. And the first left-hand variation I want to start with while playing that rhythm, that basic ostinato in the other limbs, is what's called clave. And there's several different kinds of clave rhythms. And the first one I'm going to talk about is called 2-3 clave. And that is basically a 2-measure pattern where the first measure has beats on 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So that's the first half of the 2-3 clave. And then the second measure is a little more interesting, where you've got 1 and then on the end of 2, 1, 2, and 3, and then on 4. So altogether 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4. So you put those two rhythms together and you have a basic 2-3 clave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4. Now the first half of clave combined with that foot pattern is not that hard. If I was just to play this over and over again, it's kind of like the pop samba where you're putting a little quarter note before the backbeat. Notice also I use the cross stick pattern, which kind of mimics the actual instrument called clave, 2 sticks that you hit together and it gets that similar sound. And it's the basis for a lot of Latin rhythms. So it gets a little more interesting when you add the second half of the clave with regards to the and of 2, especially, because that happens on what I call the seam of that bass drum pattern. That's exactly, you're on the hump, on the anticipation of 3, 2, and 3. So if I'm just going to isolate the left hand rhythm on the second half of clave with the bass drum. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. Do that again. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. So you hear that rhythm on the hump, on the seam, right? On the 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3. Now I add the left foot, and it makes it a little more interesting. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. Now this just kind of sounds lopsided because it's only half a rhythm. So let's put just the feet and that left hand clave together. And that whole thing would sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 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 1. Now let's add the right hand. And if this is too much at first, split the limbs up. Try just playing that. In fact, I'm going to do this now. And I'm going to play the right hand rhythm again together with the left hand rhythm. So, and I'll just use a closed hi-hat so you can get a real clear picture of how those two things go together. So the right hand rhythm is going to be 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. So again, you've got the rhythm, the push on the end of 2 in what I call the seam or the hump of the right hand rhythm too, right? 2 and 3. 1, 2, and 3, right? This anticipates and this follows through. So that right there, that's the challenge, getting that anticipation. You're playing 2 rhythms at the same time. So you want to get that happening first. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and then together 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. So let's add the feet, which is the closed hi-hat. Now let's bring the left foot in and move over to the right cymbal. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, and 3, 4, and 1, and 3, 4, and 1, and 3, 4, and 1. A little faster. A little challenging. So so that'll give you a good start, though. If you get those, take them, break them down little by little. Now I'm going to play maybe just a couple more variations in the left hand. Just if you get that, that's step 1. Actually, step 2 after the backbeat, then the clave. And I'm gonna let's go over just 2 more left hand variations. So this next one, I sometimes I'll refer to this down, 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 up, 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 because the first measure is down beats on 2, 3, and 4, and then the next measure is all the up beats, the ands of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So down, down, up, 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 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So this is a little more challenging because you've got there's 2 intersections on the hump. When we get to that second measure, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So you might want to take that, break it down to the limbs, this, right? And then add the left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 4 and 1. Add the foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Add the right foot. Let's break this down to left foot, right foot, left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Add the left hand on the right cymbal, or sorry, right hand on the right cymbal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. Getting a little more challenging now. I'm going to go with one more, because why not? We're here. We're studying it. We're making progress. So let's go with the left-hand rhythm that is actually kind of legit. And it's a part of a rhythm from Brazil, for the samba, Brazilian samba that's called Samba Batucada. And that rhythm is got, I like it because it's bookended by down, it's got downbeats, upbeats, downbeats. And it's going to sound like 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. Ah, 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 ah. Kind of groovy, right? So now we're getting into some legit territory. Still kind of a gringo hand pattern, but this is legit. So now let's add the right foot. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 4 1 2 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 4 1 2 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 4 and 1. Add the right hand. A little faster. Add the foot. Let's break it down. Actually, add the left foot. Leave the right hand out for now, and all the other limbs. One, two, three, and 1 and 2 and 3 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 4 and 1. Now put it all together. Faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. Variation there. So that's a good start. That'll give you a really good beginning to an adaptation of samba. There I probably know, I don't know, close to 20 different ways to play samba. There's so many wonderful variations, and they're all challenging. Even these, if you don't have a handle on basic grooves, then go back and get that happening first, because we're talking about some independence now. So I hope you enjoyed that. I had a lot of fun going over those. And so maybe I'll just play out. Oh, let's talk about tempo. Sorry, before we go, I would try and set a goal, say 80 in cut time. So I'll put on the metronome here. That's kind of a nice walking tempo, right? And so we're talking cut time. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. To kind of a good goal to set for yourself. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that. Practice smart, not hard. Break those things down, and just remember also, nothing is hard. A lot of things are challenging though, but just put your mind to it, put in the work, think it out, and you'll be playing samba in no time. So I'll play you off like I started with a little samba groove, and I'll just play some variations. I'll start with what we started and see where it goes. Here we go.